Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with the Simpler Stocks free video for June 8th, 2016. As you see, it's about 11 minutes before the close. Wanted to get this done as close to the close as possible. The last couple of days we've had where you just sort of sit here by the end of the day, so it didn't have to go out exactly at 4 o'clock Eastern. As you see in here, whatever it did on the close, it sort of stayed there all these days in here. Today's a little different. That's why I wanted to get it out as close to the close as possible. Basically, we've had this. Most of the days we've had a concurrent rally, and we'll get into that in a minute, the actual charts. But what I want to show you was this. Go into here and look at the market today, and you'll see a big difference. We have right now the ES is up 250, but the NASDAQ down 1125. And we'll show the comparative charts in a minute. But basically every day, because the NASDAQ is twice the price of the ESs, every day if the ESs are up 250, NASDAQ up 6 points. This time it's a big difference. A lot of that because of a lot of drug stocks. We'll also get into that in a minute. We have in here the Russell only up 350. It was up about 6. Now it's a miracle it's up in the first place because so many healthcare stocks were nailed today because of the bad news about Biogen and ALXN, just company-specific drug news. But the TF, which was underperforming earlier, came back for a good little rally. Bonds up all of 12. You have the Nikkei up only 50. Transport's up 80. So the transports are trying to play catch-up here. I'll show you a chart of that also. You have crude oil up 79, but that's not the biggest news. The biggest news is what some of the individual oil stocks have done today, just taking off. Now, I got to tell you, we'll get into that right now. A lot of times when you see parabolic moves in the oil stocks, when oil hasn't moved that much, and let me show you what I mean in here. Here's oil, and sure, it's right up against resistance. Go to a weekly chart, and I'm going to take off the futures on the left, and you can see what I'm talking about. Right here, oil right at resistance. That's not what worries me. What worries me is this. You see the EOGs of the world having these parabolic moves. The stock was 81 yesterday. It's now 85. Now, the whole idea of nothing's changed that much. But when I've seen this urge like this to buy the resource stocks, look at this stock. Here's another one for you. Put in PXD. Big old moves in here. Nice moves. Now, that might not seem like a lot. You put it on a 78-minute, and you realize this from 159 to 165. It's pretty impressive. Let's put on a 39. That gives you better, for instance. What I've seen through all my years of doing this is when you see the resource stocks have a big pop, that's usually near the end of a move. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it does. It's like a reach for just these stocks that have been the real laggards. Now, what's interesting about that is, sure enough, look at PXD on the left, and then look at the ESs on the ESs on the left, and look at the PXD on the right. And you'll see, look what just happened. And I'm telling you, I've seen this over and over. You go into EOG, look at the last rally in EOG. Not the one today, but you go on a daily and you see this pop back here. Look what day that was. April 26th. When did the market sell off? Go back here on a daily. April 26th. It's not a coincidence. I mean, it's very interesting on how that works. So the whole idea in there is they could go up, but it's usually a big warning sign when whoever they is, goes after the resource stocks. So what we're seeing now in the market in here, and I'll show you intraday, is we've been having this thing I call concurrent mode. Concurrent mode means that all the indexes are moving together. You know, show what happened like in December. And as you see in here, the NASDAQ started going down way after the ESs did. So we had different pulls and drags, so to speak. Now, this time as we've been going up, the NASDAQ's been going up, ES is going up. Today is the first day it's been a little different. Look at the ESs over here, and look at the NQs on a 15 on the right. As you see in here, when this went to a new high, look at the time of this. And then you'll see where the high was of the NASDAQ. Even when it was here, it was really down here. But it was up barely, like 1 point when this was up 7 points. Big old divergence in here. So that's one thing. In fact, show you on a better chart I hear, This was at 5 in the morning, that high. Notice this on the ESs on the left. That was at 1:15 Eastern today. So now you see what I'm talking about here. So back here, first thing in the morning, there was a concurrent mode, except this time you've had this rally right here on the ESs on the left here, when this happened early today and it fell off a cliff. So that's been the first warning sign we've had in days. Now the thing is, we got the ESs up exactly where I had posted on the premium video they could go. Now what are we talking about in there? Well, first thing in here, let me show you this on a 78 and a 15. And I want you to see what I mean about the objective in here. We were showing this on the nightly video. We were showing this right here, that maybe we're making it more difficult than it has to be. This is a rectangle. This rectangle measured from 2088 to 2104. That's 16 points. So you take that 16 points and you add it to the breakout at 2104, gets you to 2120. Instead, the high was 2118, but that's close enough. You have to understand, when we measure this, it's an approximation. It could be 15 points. It could be from 2103. It's a range, and it's not a perfect science. All I know is it got up near that level. That's number one. Number two, if you're day trading, I'm not saying this is a day trading site or just that everything we talk about is day trading, but I'll take off this on the right. I like to take off the 200 moving average. I think that it gets in a lot of people's ways on shorter term charts. What I want you to see is this. Today, we have two reasons. I like to have 3 reasons to do a trade. One thing that alerted me was the drug stocks looking so bad. So that's the IBB. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water in the IBB, it falls apart today because of certain stocks like ALXN and BIIB. So that this looked bad. Number 2 in here, you would think the Russell would look bad, but it's just moderate. The next thing you have in here is the ESs. So you have the ESs and the NQs having a divergence like we talked about, and the NQs already looking weak. So then what do you do from an intraday perspective? This is how to do it. Watch the ATR trailing stop. You know that the resource stocks were up. You know that's danger sign. You know the BIIB is way down, which is a danger sign. And we know the NASDAQ has been underperforming today. The whole idea in this is right there, 2016.50. The second it broke that, all day it's been over it. In our classes, we talk all the time about the ATR trailing stop. And look what it did once it broke it. That was it. Now, if you're not inclined to mess around with the ATR trailing stop and only with chart patterns, you could have done it this way. Not only did it break the ATR trailing stop, but then it formed a little mini head and shoulders here that if it broke a bigger pattern. And that worked also. So both of those just worked to perfection. So just so you know, those worked. If you want to know where we get those kind of ideas, go on here. I'm very proud of all the sites we've done with simpler stocks. So what I want to show you in here is what your $7 trial includes. You have to understand that we have a $7 trial for 30 days. And the thing in here, it includes all of this. You get the chat room, which run 9 to 10 in the morning. That's Eastern. You get the premium videos that are even more in depth than the trial videos you're hearing now, the free one. The email alerts, which I'm very proud of, that includes the index and futures charts, stock trades and chart ideas, and unusual option activity. I don't post every option that trades unusual. I try to combine them with chart patterns, with news, and the track record has been pretty darn good. Index and futures charts, I try to post 6 every night. Stock trades and chart ideas, I posted 12 last night. So I try to post a number of charts every day in here. You go back in here to the home page, you have the forum, and in the forum we have we exchange ideas back and forth that is in a textable forum kind of format where you can look at them all the time. Meetup, this is a big deal. Tomorrow I'm doing a last hour of how to trade the MACD. But the key in your subscription, it includes all the other informal classes I've done. If you go to these and you look down here, we have reviewing the basics. We have the power of pin plays, which is an option strategy. You have putting it all together. Watch out for ARBs. ATR trailing cross stop. That's the thing I was just showing you with the overall market. Each one of these were supposed to be about 15 minutes. And it was such a great give and take during the programs. Every one is an hour. There's a lot of people on the web that charge hundreds for that, and it's free with your subscription. You go down here, 3 ways to trade, bull and bear flags. We have a lot of them. It's not like I've done 1 or 2, and like I said, I'm doing one tomorrow. We try to do one every 10 days. And at the minimum, a lot of times we do them every week. And as you see, it includes that in your trial. So if you get a chance, try to take advantage of this $7 trial. Other thing you should know in here is tonight we're having a webinar, and sort of funny in here, they did a picture of me and John Carter, and don't laugh at this, but there I am. There's Captain Kirk with Spock, and that's me. So I realize now I probably need a hairpiece. I'm sorry about that, but that's me. So, or Captain Picard, you could say that's who I am. But tonight we're doing a seminar, and let me show you what it is in here. Is basically it's simpler trading, and it's going on about our favorite option setups and a number of things. If you get a chance tonight, it's simpler stocks or simpleroptions.com, and you can register for the free webinar. So this is something that's headlined by myself and John Carter called the Dynamic Options Trader Blueprint. From Simpler Trading, you can go to simplertrading.com/webinar, and it's free. And as you see in here, it has me without my Star Trek costume on with John Carter. So I hope everybody can join us for this tonight. It sort of gives you a feel of what we talk about during the day and the kind of seminars we have. So I hope this helps everyone. Have a great night. I will talk to you tomorrow.